What if one morning you looked out your window and the sun was rising from the wrong direction? What if every compass, every clock, and every weather map suddenly stopped making sense? Imagine that. East and west have switched places, and the Earth, our home, has begun spinning backward. It sounds like a wild sci-fi movie, but what if it actually happened? How would it change our world, our lives, and even time itself? The birds would sing at night, shadows would stretch in the wrong direction, and humanity would wake up in disbelief. Welcome to Bright Mind Station, where we explore the impossible and turn questions into cosmic adventures. If you love mind-bending, what-if stories that mix science with imagination, make sure you subscribe and join the world's most curious minds. Because today, don't forget to subscribe to the channel Bright Mind Station, like the video, and share your choice in the comments below. The meaning of going backwards. Our planet spins from west to east once every 24 hours. That simple motion makes the sun rise in the east and set in the west. At the equator, the Earth is moving faster than a speeding bullet, around 1,670 kilometers per hour. Now imagine reversing that spin after 4.5 billion years of steady motion. The atmosphere, oceans, and molten core wouldn't stop instantly. They'd keep moving in their old direction while the planet beneath them turned the other way. For a few horrifying hours, the world would become a blender of air, rock, and fire. The continents would groan under stress, and shockwaves would ripple through the planet's crust. In that chaos, the familiar hum of life would turn into a roar of unrestrained energy. The first hours, within minutes, the air would lose its harmony with the ground below. Normally, our atmosphere moves gently with Earth's rotation, creating stable weather patterns. But in a reversed world, the air keeps its old momentum, slamming into the planet's surface at more than 1,000 kilometers per hour. Imagine every hurricane on Earth merging into one monstrous storm, tearing forests from their roots and flattening cities in minutes. Oceans would leap out of their basins, and even mountains would begin to erode from sheer wind power. The sound of it all wouldn't be a storm. It would be the sound of a planet breaking its own laws of motion. Skyscrapers would twist like paper, and whole regions would vanish beneath dust and wind. It would be the loudest and most terrifying dawn in human history. The oceans fight back. As the atmosphere tears apart the skies, the oceans begin their own rebellion. Ocean currents, tides, and waves all depend on Earth's spin. Reverse that, and they go to war. The Pacific Ocean would crash eastward, swallowing coastal cities across the Americas. The Indian Ocean would surge in the opposite direction, flooding countries that once felt safe. Tides, normally driven by the moon's pull, would become unpredictable. Waves taller than skyscrapers would wander across the planet, smashing everything in their path. For days, the sea would become a living monster, consuming the edges of civilization. Entire ports would vanish beneath walls of water, and new coastlines would be carved overnight. The world's maps would need to be redrawn, because the oceans themselves would no longer obey. Weather in reverse. After the winds calm and the oceans settle, the atmosphere reorganizes itself. The Coriolis effect, which decides how storms spin, would flip entirely. Hurricanes in the northern hemisphere would now twist clockwise, and those in the southern hemisphere counterclockwise. The global wind belts would shift. Monsoons would change sides of the planet. Deserts could bloom, and rainforests might dry out. The Sahara could turn green, while the Amazon becomes a dust bowl. But such change would be catastrophic. Ecosystems don't adapt overnight. Entire species would vanish, unable to evolve fast enough. Earth's beauty would survive, but it would be unrecognizable. Rivers might reverse their flow, and mountain snowfall would form where deserts once burned. Every weather forecast would read like fiction, because the rules of the sky would have been rewritten. Human civilization collapses. Now imagine what this reversal means for us, humans who depend on predictable systems. Air routes, GPS signals, satellite orbits, even weather forecasts all rely on the Earth spinning eastward. Flip that, and every global system goes haywire. Planes would take twice as long to travel. Satellites would pass over the wrong places. Navigation would fail completely. Communication networks would collapse as electromagnetic interference floods the ionosphere. Cities would fall dark. Humanity, for the first time in modern history, would lose control of time and direction. Stock markets would crash, governments would panic, and the internet itself could fail. In a matter of days, the modern world would feel like ancient history, when day feels like night. Even though the length of a day wouldn't change, our perception of time would shatter. The sun would now rise over the Pacific and set over the Atlantic. Entire civilizations built around the rising sun, from temples to cities, would face the wrong horizon. For billions of people, it would feel like living in a mirror. Our internal body clocks, tuned to millennia of eastward dawns, would lose rhythm. People would feel permanent jet lag. Days would feel longer. Time itself would feel broken, as if the world's heartbeat had changed. Religions would question their ancient symbols, and cultures would rewrite calendars to fit a reversed dawn. Humanity's sense of direction, both physical and spiritual, would collapse into confusion. A new planet emerges. Fast forward a few decades. Humanity survives, but the world has transformed. The Sahara now grows lush with forests and rivers. The Amazon has become a dry basin. Europe freezes under a reversed Gulf Stream, while Australia blooms green. Humanity learns to adapt again, rebuilding cities where the climate allows life to flourish. It's a second chance at civilization, born from chaos. The world map looks nothing like the one we know. It's a reboot of the planet, familiar but entirely new. The science behind the madness. All of this chaos can be explained by one principle: angular momentum. When an object in motion changes direction, everything connected to it resists. Earth's crust, oceans, and core all spin together like gears. Reverse one, and friction between them releases unimaginable energy. Mountains could rise or crumble. The molten core, which powers our magnetic field, might reverse too, causing magnetic chaos. Life evolves to survive. Given enough time, life always finds a way. Birds would develop new instincts for reverse migration paths. Plants would change how they release seeds, adapting to new wind currents. Humans would evolve, too, mentally and socially. Generations born in this reversed world wouldn't even know that east once meant morning. They'd grow up with new maps, new myths, and new directions. A civilization reversed. A century later, the Earth would look both familiar and alien. Satellites orbit in reverse. Calendars mark the new spin era. Time zones are redrawn, and ancient landmarks become relics of the old direction. Our concept of forward and backward would transform, not just in geography, but in philosophy. We'd learn that progress doesn't depend on direction, but on persistence. The daytime broke didn't destroy us. It reminded us who we are. Artists would create stories of the old spin, and children would wonder what it was like to live when the sun rose differently. In the mirror world of tomorrow, humanity would finally learn that change, no matter how terrifying, always brings discovery. If you enjoyed this journey into the impossible, hit that like button, subscribe to Bright Mind Station, and tell us in the comments. What do you think would be the strangest part of a backwards Earth? Stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, every question you ask brings us one spin closer to understanding the universe itself.